Convergence Center. It's a place where everything seems to converge.
Not only just people.
People and papers and computers, and well, you can see it all around you. It is a place of convergence, of everything coming together in the mind and in the heart. And so in here we are mapping all the projects that are coming out of the task forces. We have a research base of information that is available to the people here to make their projects very real. And we have a lot of computer equipment here to try to capture all of the information that is coming out of the task forces so that we can give it back to everybody who's here.
We're in the process of doing our final edition of the Daily Summit, which is the Summit Daily, which is the daily newspaper to provide good news to the participants here at the summit.
And that comes out every day. When do they receive it?
They receive it at the plenary session each morning. It's on their tables, and we have one for each of the participants, and we have also translated several key articles in Cyrillic, in Russian, to have available for the Russians.
And the process includes you going to the task forces of your choice. Now, I want to point out that there are actually three types of participants we have here. We have the Soviet delegation, and that Soviet delegation has been selected and been more or less asked to go to certain task forces. And that has been selected from Moscow. They looked at our list, and the people were selected for those task forces. The second category of participant are the American counterparts of those Soviets. They also have been specifically invited to go to task forces in the area of their expertise. Then, in addition to the participants, there are, as I mentioned last night, the delegates. Now, the delegates have come to support this conference in two ways. One, through their financial support, and more important, through their very presence. They have been invited to select the task forces of their choice. There are also facilitators in every one of the task forces who will assist the chair people in maintaining the process, which you will hear about in just a moment. We invite you to really help us with this design, because if we can jointly create a process that emancipates human creativity, we will start a critical mass, not in the nuclear explosion this time, but a critical mass of creativity that will be a chain reaction that won't stop until it spreads around the world. So when you're in these task forces, you will have chair people, you can tell them what works, you can tell them what doesn't work, and you can be part of inventing the next stage of self-government.
I'd just like to see if what kind of a project we have in broadcast media, just any project.
Well, this is one right here that I'm working on.
Okay, just describe that to me.
Well, it's called the Center for Documentary Cooperation, and they're working on the exchange and production of Soviet American programming and having a central place for planning co-productions.
Fantastic. And who are the project directors on that?
Let's see, the American contact is Sally Millets, and the Soviet contact person is Alexei Simonov.
Huh, very good. How long have you been doing this?
Well, I did some of this data entry before the summit started, and then I've been doing it all day yesterday and today.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 15, going on 16.
Well, this is a mapping center, Dave, and we're taking all of the project reports that have come in as surveys before the conference, and taking all the task force reports and information and connection forms that are being reported on by the task forces, and entering them into databases, sorting them out, representing them graphically, projecting them up on the wall so that analysts and task force leaders can come in and begin to see the cross impacts between task forces. So they get a picture of the conference as a whole, and some of the connections that they might not see being isolated in their individual task forces.
I see.
I have a Kellogg Fellowship to explore citizen diplomacy, the private sector aspect of Soviet American relations, and I have been involved in setting up a database that is a research function here on citizen-initiated projects, joint projects with the Soviet Union. And it turned out to be a little more extensive than I anticipated. because of the incredible volume of projects that are coming in, this kind of outpouring of private sector initiatives.